I just love my job.
Perhaps the most significant challenge facing The Devil Wears Prada 2 is simple. It arrives 2 decades after the original. In that time, the world has shifted dramatically, and weaving those changes into the fabric of a story so loved by its audience is no small task. In many ways, this challenge outweighs even the burden of legacy. Then there are the characters. Their likability and relatability were so profound that we carried them home with us. They have lingered almost personally in the audience's memory. Since then, Anne Hathaway and Emily Blunt have evolved into two of Hollywood's finest actors, while Meryl Streep has only deepened her status as a legend. Any misstep with these characters now carries far greater risk. Layered onto this is nostalgia. The film means something intimate to many who watched it. Emotions that are difficult to replicate, let alone surpass. The challenge then is not just creative, but deeply emotional. Yet, in David Frankel, who returns to direct, the film has a steady hand that has lived with this story from its inception to its present evolution. Alongside him is writer Oline Brosh Mukeno, who returns to write, ensuring continuity of voice. With a largely unchanged co-cast including the ever-brilliant Stanley Tucci, the film attempts to balance fidelity with the inevitability of change. The question then is inevitable. Does the film resonate emotionally the way the original did? 2 decades on, the sequel opens with Andy Sachs, played by Anne Hathaway, now an established journalist whose career collapses the very night she wins a major award, getting laid off along with her entire team. The irony is sharp, almost cruel. Yet within days, a call from the CEO of Runway pulls her back into the very world she once left behind. Miranda Priestley, played by Meryl Streep, now older, still formidable, but no longer untouchable, is the one Andy must collaborate with once again as the magazine's features editor. Tasked with navigating a rapidly shifting, digitally driven media landscape where print feels increasingly obsolete, Miranda finds herself on uncertain ground. She remains as exacting as ever, but the cracks are more visible this time. Age, irrelevance, and the speed of change weigh on her in ways the original never allowed. Complicating matters further is the return of Emily, played by Emily Blunt, the once harried assistant, now turned powerful executive at a rival luxury brand. Her evolution sets up a compelling counterpoint to both Andy and Miranda, turning past loyalties into present day rivalries. As before, the film draws its strength from the shifting dynamics between these three women. Their relationships carry the narrative even as a sequel folds in a measured commentary on corporate culture, the disruptive force of digitization and AI in creative industries, and the shrinking attention spans shaped by social media. The film makes a sincere attempt to stay rooted in its time while remaining faithful to characters that audiences have carried with them for 20 years. It does not always balance both seamlessly, but when it does, it finds echoes of what made the original endure. One of the defining choices shaping the sequel's writing is an acute awareness of how audiences have evolved over the past 2 decades. That shift is evident in the screenplay's rhythm and tone. The film understands that theatrical viewing now demands more immediacy and engagement, especially in an era where OTT offers a comfortable alternative. As a result, the narrative moves at a quicker pace, leaning into sharper twists, punchier one liners, and a more pronounced sense of humor. What the screenplay gets right is resisting the temptation to let style overpower substance. The story is rooted in its emotional core, preserving what made the first film resonate so deeply. There is a conscious effort to retain the humanity of these characters, allowing moments of humor to sit comfortably alongside those of vulnerability and introspection. The result is a screenplay that delivers both levity and weight. It offers several laugh out loud beats, but also moments of quiet catharsis that ground the film emotionally. Much like its predecessor, the sequel places significant demands on its actors, and it's reassuring to see a clear continuity in how these characters are brought to life. There's an attention to detail in ensuring that Miranda, Emily, and Andy feel like natural extensions of who they once were, shaped by time but not disconnected from their core selves. That evolution rather than reinvention is what stands out. All three actresses deliver performances that reflect not just physical aging, but a deeper internal shift. There's a lived in quality to their portrayals, balancing chaos, restraint, and a certain hard earned clarity with ease. It never feels forced. The film's pulse lies in their comedic timing and the chemistry they share, which remains as sharp as ever. That said, the sequel tilts more toward wit and rapid fire exchanges with fewer of the quieter introspective pauses that once gave the story its emotional weight. It's a conscious shift in tone, with the makers choosing a more entertaining, slightly edge of the seat approach driven by clever twists and well placed surprises that keep the narrative engaging. 2 decades on, the sequel to The Devil Wears Prada knows legacy alone won't suffice and adapts to a faster, more demanding audience. It preserves the core of its beloved characters, allowing them to evolve without losing their essence. The performances anchor the film with chemistry and timing doing much of the heavy lifting. The writing leans into pace, twists, humor, and relevance, trading some depth for immediacy. The result is an entertaining, worthy sequel to a franchise whose legacy continues to endure. IMDb gives the film 6.8 out of 10. My rating is 3.5 out of 5. Go watch The Devil Wears Prada 2 in a theater close to you. Please like, share, and comment if you like the video, and subscribe to this channel for more such reviews. You can also find my content on my blog whatsonsidsmind.com, where I put out book and movie reviews and essays and travelogues.